Mr. President,
Republican Whip.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent the quorum call be vitiated.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent to waive the mandatory quorum call in relation to Executive Calendar Number 3, SRES 520.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. President. You've just heard the minority leader came to the floor and he said that the Democrats want a 3-year extension, 3 full years, for Biden's COVID bonus payments with absolutely no change to the law. Not a single reform to deal with the waste, the fraud, the abuse, and the corruption of these payments and of Obamacare. Not a single one. They want to send billions of dollars, actually it's likely to be $100 billion, directly from the U.S. Treasury to insurance companies. Some insurance companies are highly profitable, and that's their position. Just send more U.S. dollars to insurance companies. Maybe just do a direct transfer of money. Should I remind, does he need to be reminded that the COVID problems are over? But they want to send another $100 billion of Biden COVID bonus payments directly to insurance companies. Remember, the Democrats shut down the government of the United States for 43 days because of health care, because of Obamacare. Actually, they wanted at one point to give money to illegal immigrants for health care. That was part of their demands, free health care for illegal immigrants. Shut down the government, deny the American people services they need, transportation, all of those things. The damage they did to the economy, the damage they did to the country, by forcing the American people through 43 days of the politics of pain, and now the ongoing pain of having to live under Obamacare with this failed health care system that we're living with today. Obamacare is a program that undermined health care in America. Democrats say they want to talk about Obamacare, so let's talk about what's happened for the last 15 years. I'm a doctor. I practiced medicine for 24 years in Wyoming before coming to the United States Senate. The Democrats refuse to tell the American people, refuse to even admit it to themselves, living in denial that Obamacare is broken and it broke health care in America. Obamacare is a failure. Obamacare is unaffordable. Let me point out, not a single Republican voted for Obamacare, not one. Premiums for people in Obamacare have gone up over 220% since Obamacare became law 15 years ago. For people that have Obamacare, their deductibles have doubled. A family of 4 now pays $10,000 more for the coverage today than it did before Obamacare. Competition for selling insurance in the United States has collapsed. In rural counties, my home state of Wyoming, your home state, Mr. President, of Oklahoma, people lost so many of the options that they had to buy insurance. The insurance providers have dried up. Today, many counties are left with one provider only for people to buy from. Some counties have none. Rural hospitals are struggling. More than 100 rural hospitals have closed since Obamacare became law. Hundreds more are at risk because of the devastating effect of Obamacare on health care in our nation. Let's go back and recall what President Obama told the nation as he was promoting Obamacare, and every one of the Democrats voted for it, every single one of them. He said, remember, he said, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. He said, if you like your policy, you can keep your policy. These are the things that the President of the United States told the American people when Barack Obama was in the White House. He even went on to say, probably the biggest lie of all, he said your insurance premiums would go down by $2,500 a year for families. Every single one of these was a lie. The American people see it. American people, even the New York Times said Obamacare is pricey. They said that about a month ago. The Washington Post admitted that Obamacare was never affordable. These aren't my words. These are the words of the New York Times and the Washington Post. So how do Democrats continue to cover up the failure, to continue to mislead the American people? Try to do it with government subsidies. They tried to cover up the failures of Obamacare with government-paying subsidies, not to the American people, but directly to the insurance companies. When they find out that those subsidies weren't enough, what did they do to those juicy subsidies weren't carrying the day? They said, let's add new subsidies on top of it, which is what they're talking about, extending those new, juicier subsidies. Today, they want to extend those for 3 more years. They put them in place during COVID, call them the Biden COVID bonus subsidies. Now they want to make them permanent. They want to go for 3 years now, but they've been talking about trying to do this permanent. They want the American people to just keep having the Treasury of the United States send more money to insurance companies as the costs of health care continue to climb. When Biden was president, Democrats created these Biden COVID bonuses, new subsidies, added on top to prop up Obamacare because it was falling. Obamacare was toppling. The Democrats, we can't have this. Hundreds of billions of more dollars to insurance companies. Let's be very clear, the money does not go to the American people. It is mainlined straight from the U.S. government treasury into the bank accounts of big insurance companies. The American people, the consumers, are cut out of the equation. American consumers have no way to say how the money is spent, and they need to have a voice in this. You get the government writing big checks. There's no incentive to control costs, zero incentive to compete, and as a result, insurance companies continue to raise premiums as high as they want, and their profits continue to go up. These increases aren't because the Biden COVID bonuses are expiring, although that's what the Democrats are trying to say. Remember, Democrats chose the date of expiring of these subsidies when they put this into law in 2022. That's what they did. They had the House, they had the Senate, they had the White House. They said, we're going to put more money in. But even they realized that the COVID was going to be done by the end of this year, so they set this up as an expiring date. Now they realize, oh no, Obamacare continues to topple over. We need to prop it up with more government money to insurance companies. Now, the end of these Biden COVID bonuses explain about 4% of next year's projected 20% spike in insurance premiums. These huge premium increases explain why the stock prices of insurance companies have soared from 500 to 1,000% since Obamacare became law. That's what we're seeing. That's the reality of this, Mr. President. Big insurance companies, not the American people, are who the Democrats continue to support financially. Democrats created a system, zero accountability. Now they want to extend this broken system with these additional subsidies for another 3 years with zero reforms. Nothing. Not going after the waste, not going after the fraud, not going after the abuse. Oh, no. The Democrats are happy paying massive subsidies, and for everybody, for people making over $250,000 a year, for people making over $500,000 a year. Nope, keep sending the money over to the insurance companies for all their rich fat cat friends. The Biden COVID bonuses are not improving patient care. I will tell you that as a doctor. For every taxpayer dollar spent on these subsidies, Americans believe they get about 34 cents worth of value. So where does the rest of the money go? Waste, fraud, abuse, and yes, corruption. How do we know there's corruption? Well, last year the American people filed over 200,000 complaints with the federal government about that specific thing. They complained because they were unknowingly signed up or switched into Obamacare plans. Things they didn't choose, they didn't want, they didn't ask for. And those are 200,000 that complained. How many more were there that even didn't know about it or didn't know enough or who to complain to? Insurers signed up individuals for insurance plans that didn't even know they had them. The Biden COVID bonuses are an expensive, fraud-ridden failure, and the Democrats want to extend them for another 3 years. Mr. President, continuing to pour billions of dollars more into the pockets of big insurance companies without meaningful protection against fraud will not lower costs of health care. It will not help the American people. Republicans believe Americans deserve high-quality, affordable care. It's not what people have gotten under Obamacare, not at all. Republicans believe taxpayer dollars should go directly to the hardworking people, not to the big insurance companies. Give buying power to the people. Let people make decisions. I trust the American people. We want to empower Americans to make their own decisions about health care, certainly, and about their own families and what the needs are for their families, what's right for them. So there is a clear divide, Mr. President, between the Democrats and Republicans on health care. And on one side of the aisle, you have the Democrats protecting a broken system with not a single plan to lower costs. On this side of the aisle, we have Republicans who are fighting to give people what they wanted all along, the care they need from a doctor they choose at a price they can afford. Thank you, Mr. President.